pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. A little welcome rain today.
Yes.
Just a quick reminder to silence your phones, please. First order of business, public announcements. Details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. Absentee ballots requests are now being accepted for the November 4th election. Ballots will be available beginning the second week of October. Applications are now being accepted until October 2nd to fill a vacancy for a Kennebec Water District trustee and a Kennebec Sanitary Treatment trustee. Applications can be found on the town's Facebook page or at the town office. Applications are being accepted for the following committees: Ice Arena Steering Committee, 1 seat available. Environmental Committee, 2 seats available. You can find applications at the town office or on the town Facebook page. Lawrence Public Library, learn about upcoming changes to Medicare plans and much more at Free Medicare Educational Seminar on October 9th at 10:30 a.m. There is still time to plan a trip to Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens. The patron pass is good until October 15th. Please join us for our 3rd annual Fall Festival on October 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., where there will be carnival games, food, crafts, and a bounce house and more. We're putting the Boo in books this Halloween with our Haunted Stacks, October 29th, 30th, and 31st, after hours from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We'll be adding more programming in the coming months, so stay tuned. The library has something for everyone. Second order of business, public hearings. Charter amendment to amend Article 2, Section 200 of the annual town budget meeting. So I'm going to read Article 2, Section 200. The annual town budget meeting shall be held in the town of Fairfield in the county of Somerset on the second Monday in May of each year. We would like to amend that to say after the first day of May, prior to the 30th day of June of each year. The purpose of the annual town budget meeting is strictly for the raising and/or appropriations of funds for the municipal budget. We will add a change that will state if there is not an approved municipal budget or a portion thereof at the start of the fiscal year, the amounts appropriated for operations in the prior fiscal year shall be deemed adopted for the new fiscal year on a month-to-month basis until such time as the budget for the new fiscal year is adopted. So summarize, the Town of Fairfield Charter dictates that the date of the annual town budget meeting shall be on the second Monday in May. The Town of Fairfield Charter does not dictate that the annual town meeting be held in the open town meeting format. The Fairfield Town Council has the authority to order that the annual town budget meeting be conducted with the referendum/secret ballot format. The charter amendment would allow the Fairfield Town Council to decide if the town budget meeting will happen in the open town meeting format or referendum secret ballot format, and will ensure it takes place between May 1st and June 30th of each year. Should the Fairfield Town Council decide to order that the annual town budget meeting be conducted in the referendum/secret ballot format, this amendment would give the flexibility to align the vote with the MSAD 49 school board member and budget validation vote in June and allow for absentee voting. This charter amendment also adds a provision to allow conditional continuity of the municipal government should any article fail during the annual town budget meeting process. Information related to the proposed changes to the charter is available at the town office. All interested people are invited to attend the public hearing and will be given the opportunity to be heard at that time. So this is the time to be heard. If you have any questions on the proposed changes to the charter.
Max Kenny, Ohio Hill Road. I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to state that I'm really supportive of these changes. I think aligning the council or the town's budget with the MSCD 49 budget and making that a whole day of elections and then being able to vote absentee is really important for our community moving forward. So I applaud the council for proposing this change.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Any other public comment? Discussion from council?
I think we've talked about it several times, and I think it's just what Max just said. It's going to give us a chance to align, cut down, duplicate voting, potentially, double days, and allow the most important thing, which is more participation. So that's what we want. And I think
And it still allows for the public hearing so
Right.
that citizens can amend the dollar amounts on the articles as well. But that's done prior to the referendum vote.
So I think it's the best of both worlds.
So for those who may not understand, we will still have our meeting. We will go through each article. If something we're not voting there,
Right.
we're going to discuss and answer questions. When do we decide as a council that we're going to either vote on it or put it on referendum? Because I read that as a little vague here.
Michelle, go ahead.
So there are laws that dictate when you must set a warrant for any election. So typically what you have to do is at least it's 45 days prior to an election date that you would have to make that decision. So what you would do is you would make sure that your public hearing is prior to that date. So it does, if you choose to go this route, it does bump, well, it actually doesn't really even change your timetable for the budget process. It's still, council still typically would get the budget in January. February is usually when the budget committee does it. Everything's finalized, and then you would start scheduling your public hearing. And then it also will require a mailer that will, the mailer that we give out now before town meeting, that requirement is still there. But if you schedule your public hearing accordingly, that gives the opportunity for public participation in any one particular article and gives the council the opportunity to adjust that number within that article before it goes to vote. But once the 45 days arrives, then that's locked in and you can't change that if you're going to do referendum. Right? It's 45, yeah?
So-
Because you have to have ballots. Referendum style, you have to have ballots available 30 days in advance for absentee voting, and then the 15-day buffer prior to that is so that we have to get everything to the printers in order to make sure that that's available.
So the way that she explained, and I understand, is I would recommend that we make that motion at that meeting to set those timelines, because we're really in a time crunch if we're gonna meet that deadline.
It actually gives us more flexibility because currently it is the second Monday or Tuesday in May, whatever, I think it's
Right.
Monday, at a set time, 6 o'clock, right? And you have to show up and vote at that point. That 45-day window for us to set our warrant is prior to that second Monday in May. So that puts us beginning of April where we have to set our warrant, which is why we have public hearing then, before we set that warrant article. And then we come to town meeting and we go through each article and we do open forum vote. What this is going to allow us the ability to do is have that between May 1st and June 30th to align with the school board referendum validation. And it's an all-day ballot as well as absentee. So currently, if you can't make it on that Monday in May, you don't get to vote. There's no absentee. There's that one time period, and that's it. So it's going to give us about probably 2 weeks more on average to set our warrant, more questions. I think people would still be able to ask more questions where we don't have that open format available.
I was just a little, I understand all that, Tim. Maybe I was just a little off on the timing of the timeline of when it starts to when we get the ballots out.
So if I'm correct, I think it gives us a couple additional weeks that we don't currently have by that May 1st
It sounds like it to
timeline.
me.
Michelle will correct me.
It's probably going to be about the same time. Because with an open town meeting format, it only actually requires a 10-day posting, but you have certain rules in the charter for when you have to have your public hearing. I would envision what you will ultimately end up having is more than one public hearing, one in which changes can be made, one in which changes cannot, so that you continue to get the word out with that. And what we would do is, if at the beginning of the budget season, a timetable would be put together so that you know, because we do that anyway.
Right.
What are your dates and deadlines? Should it be town meeting in May? Or if you aligned with June, then you would know all of that in advance when you go into the budget process, so you know exactly what kind of timeframes you have. Because we also have to make sure that mailers go out and we have timelines for printers. So there's a lot of deadlines when it comes to dealing with annual town meeting, whether it be on the floor or referendum. It's both. So, but yeah, you would, I think the timing will probably end up ultimately being about the same, simply because of the lead time you need for ballots. It doesn't give you as much flexibility as you maybe had had before, but we'd have to, I haven't done the math, so we'll look at it, but.
Because I know residents had concerns that they lost their vote because they couldn't make the town meeting. Now this gives them the flexibility on their voice.
Right.
We saw it through the COVID, because we had the ballots during the COVID. More votings came out, even to MST, so I think this is a good opportunity.
And the caveat is that we have also listed where if we don't go with an open format, where we change the amount if an article doesn't pass, that we put in a provision, if an article doesn't pass by secret ballot, then the prior fiscal year's budget will continue the same amount until such a time where a ballot vote can produce a new article or specific article to be passed.
So you don't have to worry about a department being shut down.
Yeah.
At least the first time through. It takes about a year for that to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'd get
It would take a
12
year.
months and
Yeah.
we'd be able to, do
But
monthly vote
what you
until
would do
something
is
passes.
you would call for another, you would find out what the issue is with that item, call for another election. It usually gets aligned with like November, depending on what it is, and then to get that budget put through for the remainder of the year. But yeah,
Opportunity to have a special meeting if we're
Yeah,
scuffling and can't
obviously.
come up with
Yeah,
something.
all of that.
It just gives us a lot more flexibility. I've been a proponent of this for a long time. I tried to do a petition to get this changed a long time ago. So it's nice to know that we have the ability to amend our charter. And again, it gives more than 50 or 100 people on average the ability to vote along with the school budget at the same time. So that's a big win-win for us. So, any other discussion, any other concerns? Can we make that an action item and vote on that now?
so you have to close your public hearing,
Okay.
and then that's coming up.
Where's your gavel? You just swing it.
He doesn't have anything to smack.
There it is.
So seeing no further questions, I close the public hearing. And now,
And then when you get to the election warrant, this is
That'll be in-
included in that. Yeah,
Article 7,
yeah,
okay.
when you get there.
So third order of business, public comments. Limit 3 minutes. Members of the public may speak to the council or request opportunity to speak on a specific item that is on the agenda, or may email comments for council to info@fairfield-me.gov by 4 p.m. day of meeting. Submitted content may be read aloud at this time. Do we have any members of the audience wishing to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to fourth order of business. Reports from staff and committees. Town manager report.
All right. So September 11th, I attended the KRDA Policy Committee review meeting. They're going through all of their financial policies, personnel policies, all of that, trying to get them up to date. September 16th, I attended KVCOG's annual meeting, followed by a board of directors meeting. I was voted in as the new vice president on the executive board. That's a 2-year position. I told them I couldn't be president of that and First Park at the same time. It was just too much power for one person. September 17th, I attended Delta's community meeting that was held at the Chinatown office. The council received the handouts for that. Councilor Lawrence was there as well. He may give you some more information. September 22nd, I attended the building committee meeting. Councilor Lawrence will update you on that. September 23rd, attended the environmental committee meeting. Councilor Townsend will tell you about that. September 24th, this morning, I attended Central Bank Growth Council's Board of Directors meeting. And also this afternoon, the fire chief and I were able to take Mr. King to lunch. He was here in town, hoping to see our new ambulance. However, it was not here, but he'll be back in December, so he's going to be sure to stop in then. And then also as just a general project update, Public Works has completed the work on the public parking lots on Lawrence Ave and Main Street as they sit right now. New signage will be ordered, but we are awaiting clarification on the new laws that were adopted for signage for municipal parking lots before we actually order those, so to ensure that the wording is correct. And that's it for me. It looks wonderful next to the library if you haven't seen it. They've done a great job with that.
Any questions for Michelle?
Thank you.
Councilor Thibodeau, Economic Development.
Yesterday, I attended a meeting sponsored by the Somerset Emergency Management Agency, and it was focused on preparing for a new era in emergency management because of the changes that's happening with FEMA at the federal level. And I've realized now that it's imperative that the local communities should be investing in ourselves because we have to be reliant on ourselves. So here's some of the takeaways that I got from the meeting. Disasters start and end locally. There's a need for regionalization, as with mutual aid, and we already do some mutual aid. We need to review and update the town's emergency plan with a conversation focused on obstacles and opportunities. We need to look at access to communications so that all can move along together for disaster preparedness. This would include the emergency management agencies, the schools, the Red Cross, local businesses, media, the Chamber of Commerce, volunteers, town departments, and neighboring towns. And another takeaway was a discussion on just thinking outside the box. Should emergency directors be separate from fire chiefs? And lastly, with these changing times, emergency preparedness needs to be a topic of conversation from the citizens to all levels of government. So, and there'll be more to come. They're still trying to do a lot of outreach right now from the Somerset Emergency Management Agency. And it's just so crucial. And I feel very strongly about what we're doing. Next Tuesday, September 30th, there'll be an emergency preparedness meeting here. And this is very grassroots. You'll hear about how we can work as a community to be better prepared. And part of that will be done through an introduction to what community emergency response teams are. We'll also be talking about evacuation procedures as well as other necessities for emergency preparedness. So that meeting is going to start next Tuesday at 6:30 right here in council chambers. And I'm hoping to get many people, let's put it that way. So far, we've had 5 people register, but people can come in through the door, and you'll be very welcomed. Also, our Economic Committee will meet October 7th, which is the first Tuesday of the month, here in council chambers at 3:30.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Any
Stephanie.
questions for Councilor Thibodeau? All right, Councilor Townsend, let's go environmental.
All right, so we met for the first time last night. So it was a good organizational meeting. I think our biggest focus for that will be to go back over our findings from from our final report. Look at those goals, see if they are still the ones we want to pursue and prioritize. Our biggest concern as a committee was PFAS is still our #1 concern, right? So that's really what we are still, even though we're the environmental committee, It's going to be really about PFAS right now, and then emerging threats or changes as they come forward. But our biggest focus is PFAS right now. We will be meeting actually next time will be October 7th. That'll be here in these chambers at 6 o'clock, so a Tuesday meeting. And we'll be reviewing those priorities at that point. So it's well attended for us, and I think I'm looking forward to it. So.
Okay, and we're still looking for 2 more members for
Yeah,
that
there's definitely
committee?
room. We've started the process, and we have 5, so we're
Yeah.
in good shape, but we'd always be happy to take 2 more.
So if we have any volunteers, please reach out. It's a very important committee. We need to continue where we left off on the PFAS, and I'm glad to hear that's still our number 1 priority. Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Townsend?
Glad you're up and running.
Up and running.
All right, Building Committee, Councilor Lawrence.
Okay, Building Committee, we met Monday at 5:30. We discussed the overall concerns but shared from the municipal facility towards what we did, the police department and fire department. The police chief was here, so we asked him he has a building committee himself. So he's asked each department for their square footage. And they came in low. He told them, says, think big, because we need expansion. And they just don't want to go overload on their ideas. Also, too, we discussed possible tours of municipal buildings. The town manager provided us the members a package of municipal packages of a complete upgrade or past decade. Grower, Oldham, Braywick, Cumberland, and Yarmouth. And the committee decided to explore the Freiburg Municipal Complex. There's, I know one of the committee members had a map. So they put the map up, show us the floor plans of that. So each member has the copy of that floor plan. And it has the square footage of each spots in it. So in October, we're planning tours. We don't have the dates yet. That's forthcoming on going to Skowhegan and Newport facilities. So, and we invited the fire department and the police department to come with us, the department heads. And also too, in that packet, we saw a building we liked. Looked like, came out, that was Yarmouth, that was Farmington, New Hampshire's public safety building. So we have copies of what their buildings looks like. So we might go out of state and look at special ones. But also too, we're just going to try to fit the needs of our, each department. So they're going to talk about it and come down later seeing what they actually need. So we're waiting in October for dates for tours, but we're meeting in November 18th in the council chambers at 5 o'clock. That's and to discuss October tours and floor plans and cost. Is there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
When you're looking at these buildings, are you focusing on fire and police, or are you also looking at fire, police, and town office setups?
Some of these plans we had was police and fire. Some of them had all 3. So we're going to see what is suitable for us. So we are looking both all different combinations. So.
Thank you.
We looked at Oakland. Is that one of the, I mean, they're fairly new and very local. Have we, I know
That
they're
is-
separate buildings, but
But it's a
they're
campus
really
setup,
in the
which
same
is-
campus,
Right, yeah, right. Because we can look at other ones later too, so.
I would suggest Oakland now. They're right down the road.
From what I understood, that was pretty cost effective too.
Right. The meeting I was at yesterday, Smithfield, they've got a situation where it's police and fire and town office too. And they had where we met was a large meeting area too.
Yep.
That was the old school.
Was that the old school? They just added on to it then? But it works as like a safety building, though.
But it was the old school.
Oh,
Because some of
realize
these
that.
buildings are brand-new buildings, but they didn't think big enough for expansion, so they need to add on already.
Oh, yeah.
After they ask for the money, so they have to add on, ask for more money, so we don't want to do that.
No,
so.
the more you look at, the
Like, ideas
the
we
better
get.
purview you're going to have, but I would really suggest, let's go look at our neighbors down the road. They've got brand-new facilities.
Were most of these that you looked at, were they all one building? Or were they separate? And the reason why I bring that up is because I was talking to Ella, who is working the Oakland one, and they decided to go separate so that if you have one, if they had a problem, you don't shut down the entire complex with whatever the case may be. So that's why Oakland went with 3 separate buildings with room for expansion for that case. That's the reason why I ask, if they're all one, maybe consider looking at one like Oakland, like Tim brought up, that's separated and
Yeah,
why they
we're
went
looking at
that.
all combinations.
Okay.
We are going to look at all combinations.
And then can I get you to email me a copy of your minutes so I can keep them or look at them, please? I don't have any access to the minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if,
For the building committee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're on the website yet.
Well, they'll go on our new website, but they're not currently being posted
Okay.
or open. But we can certainly have those emailed to you. That's not.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Did you want to add any more?
Peter got to it, was
Okay.
that the committee has discussed Oakland, and
Yeah.
yes, it is just down the road, and it's obvious one to look at. I think really they're concentrating right now on single buildings, and then what does that look like, and then the other pieces. So to try not to, it can be very overwhelming if you try to look at
Yeah.
all the things all at once, so, yeah.
We just look
But
at all
yes.
different combinations, the cost and things.
Oakland was one of
Well, I
them.
mean, as long as it's one campus, I know Oakland didn't do the town office piece that they originally wanted
They're getting
to
ready
do.
to
They're getting
start
ready
to do that now.
Yeah, another phase. 2-story, obviously, elevators they're gonna cost more, so, single story is gonna be a lot more cost effective, but, I mean, the more you look at, the more plans you have to bring
But
back to
also, too, we're
us.
going to go into a couple of these saying, look at them as do's and don'ts.
Absolutely.
Right.
So what's not working for them, what is working for them, so.
Yeah,
And also, too, some of them is, oops, we didn't think of expansion or the future. They have to expand already after a year after building the new building,
right.
so.
Okay, thank you. Lots of good
And I
information.
apologize, what date on October?
Oh, we don't have an October date yet, that's to be announced, because
Oh, the October date, yeah, November 18th is your next
it's
meeting.
November 18th.
I was going to say, because I had the 18th is October, I was like, that's a Saturday, you're probably not
November
meeting.
18th.
Okay. And time again?
We got 5.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Council Lawrence? Great work, thank you. Ice Rink Steering Committee, I think our organizational meeting is scheduled for November 6th, is it, Michelle? November 6th, 6 PM, right here at Council Chambers. That's all I have on that one for now.
And you still need one more person.
I'm still looking for one more, yep. Okay. Any other committees? I think that's all for now. Fifth order of business, consent agenda. These items are considered routine or standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. Item 25-101, order that the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting 2025-15 held on September 10th, 2025. Item 25-102, order that the Town Council hereby approves the Treasurer's Warrant, General Fund Number 72, in the amount of $924,189.17 to include but not limited to motor vehicle fees, SAD 49 September payment, Kennebec Sanitary Treatment District, and U.S. Bank Corp. Item 25-103, or that the town council hereby approves and signs a sewer certificate of commitment in the amount of $179,823 for the first quarter fiscal year sewer billing for the period of July 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2025.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Lawrence, second by Councilor Thibodeau. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. 6 order of business, Old Council business. Website, the town clerk has sent the website link to the council review on Thursday, September 11th of 2025. Do you have any questions on that?
I talked to you, Tim, about it. I think
Yep.
you had already talked to Brittany about it. A couple concerns that I had was the mobile friendly. It wasn't very mobile friendly.
Okay.
It seemed like a lot of things were blocked.
The menu, so we had talked, the menu section on a phone, the mobile, you have to look for the 3 lines to find the menu, whereas when I opened up on my computer, the search engine's there and everything.
Or you had to scroll over to the margin or whatever.
Because on a cell phone, I did it today. I've done it before. You always have to blow it up to find it where you want to push. Because when I opened it up, everything was right there on the old website and the new one, part of the new one. So I just had to blow it up a little bit and just punch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the website developer, I think there's just a simple button of them pushing to make it
Yeah, I don't know if it's
mobile-friendly.
something that can be changed or not, but I can reach out to them and,
Because I haven't tried it on a computer yet. I tried it on my cell phone.
They should have, again, just from experience, they should have the ability to click for mobile, tablet, and computer based off of the IP that you're using, which would automatically
And
adjust it.
maybe because it's not live.
It
And
could
that might be why,
Maybe.
but get that clarified.
Okay.
yeah, a lot of the functions, like when I had sent the link, some of the stuff isn't updated in real time on your end because it's just
Yeah,
a
it's just a
practice
sample.
link, I
Yeah,
guess. So there's been things I've been doing in the background that you guys just don't have access to right now.
Another thing I noticed was the search engine was not very good. Like, I just typed in PFAS and nothing came up.
And it might not yet because it's not live, so.
There's when I look on there, all the, there was a new one there on the current budget. I saw that was new, but
Yeah.
all the old stuff was there. So when you sent that email out, I just went on my cell phone, in my email, clicked on it,
Yep.
and it popped up. No problem.
Yeah, I've taken all of the old stuff off the website, put it on the new website, and I'm continuing to update the new website with this information, like the current information. So when we go live, it should be current and up to
Is it
date.
going to be the same name or a different name for?
I think it's going to be a .gov URL, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
And I have a list of other things.
That's
Can I
okay.
just make an appointment with you, come by and show you what I'm looking at?
Yeah,
Because it'd be a lot easier to
That's okay.
to see, because it, yeah. I'll
that's
do that.
fine.
I'll swing by sometime this
Okay.
week and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Counselor Thibodeau had sent a list of things that she had found when she reviewed, so it was very quickly gone in and addressed and taken care of. So all of these different eyes is just really good on this, so we do appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great progress. What I saw looked great. Like I said, first I opened on my cell phone, I had some concerns. When I went back in my office, opened the computer, all my concerns were gone because it was a different format, so.
Okay.
But, I mean, Council Kitchen has a good point. Every user is going to have a different device that they may use as their primary device, and we just want to make that ease of
Or
use for everyone.
or older cell phone and things like that, so.
Yeah. So, thank you for the continued work on that.
No problem.
Any other questions? Committee meeting recordings to be discussed under the 8th order of business, and the administrative fee schedule also will be discussed under the 8th order of business. 7th order of business, to take action on the following items of business. Item 25-104, order that the town council hereby approves and signs the warrant for special meeting municipal election to be held on November 4th, 2025.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Thibodeau. Counselor Kitchen?
I only saw one change that needs to be fixed, which is just admin, is state party chair is no longer Joel. And I had my notes here that had the new, it is Jim Dyerman, and I couldn't find his email address.
What was his last name?
Dyermond, Deyermond.
Okay.
That evidently has not been reported to us.
It has not. Republican State Party.
That's it.
Any other amendments to that? Do we need to amend the motion?
No, because that's actually not a part of what you're
Okay.
signing.
Okay.
So that's just part of all the paperwork. What you're signing is the first page. The articles, 1, to elect the moderator, 2, to elect the following municipal officers, and then Article 3, to amend the charter.
Okay.
The rest of that is just paperwork that goes along with all of that. So you don't need to amend the motion.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-105, order that the town council hereby selects a voting delegate and alternate voting delegate to represent the town of Fairfield for the October 2nd, 2025 Maine Municipal Association Annual Business Meeting.
So move.
Second.
The motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Townsend.
That's what, next Thursday, or?
It is.
Thursday
yeah.
after.
What time is that?
I think that meeting ends up being at 1:30 usually. Yeah, 1:15. And
Which
it's
meeting?
Wednesday, October 8th. I will be going. The council has had me do that before in the past.
Sorry, so to represent for the October 2nd, 2025, and you said October 8th, sorry.
It's October 8th, not October 2nd.
Okay.
Oh.
8th, okay.
I'm sorry, the date's wrong in the agenda.
Okay.
October 8th. Your paperwork for it has it right up at the top, Wednesday, October 8th at 1:15 PM.
Location.
It's at the Cross Insurance Center during MMA's convention.
Oh, it's right in Bangor again?
Yes.
So for people other than me that don't know, or including me that don't quite understand what this is, can just a brief explanation, please?
Would you like me to explain?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
So, as a member of Maine Municipal Association, every municipality has a voting delegate as to what Maine Municipal Association does throughout the course of the year. So what happens is that you will go, it happens every year during convention. Convention attendance comes at a cost, except for this piece of the meeting so that you can go to this for free. Typically, you vote on things like they are going to share their strategic priorities for the year ahead, present highlights of MMA's 2025 activities and accomplishments, and announce the results of the executive committee election. And normally you adopt the minutes of the meeting prior to. So if there's any business at hand from Maine Municipal Association that its members need to participate in, that is what is done with this. It's basically their annual meeting, like most of your boards and committees and that kind of stuff. And so typically, in the past, it's been whoever was going to convention could go, their agenda's here. Is introduction and welcome, election results, approve the 2024 MMA annual business meeting minutes, MMA's presidential report, executive director's report, and then that's it, other business. So it's just a general piece, but you have to have been appointed by your municipality to actually attend that event and vote on anything. Anybody can attend, but you can't vote unless you've been appointed.
So for this meeting, is there read-ahead information on what would be voted on, or what's items are being discussed, or is it just show up and
Just show
group
up.
discussion?
Yep.
So they're holding like a little convention before, just like a little area of, like before when I went. They held the little classes here and there. Are they doing it again this year, or?
So Maine Municipal Association's annual convention is 2 days worth of all-day training. Vendors are set up at the event, so that do anything from software to plow blades. It's in, you get a copy of the Maine Townsman, their convention agenda is in there. It typically is the largest training day for municipalities all across the state and hits every bracket of needs, anything from code enforcement to town clerk to town managers and public works and that sort of thing. And it's a great opportunity for folks to go. I was actually hoping to shut the town office down so it would be sure to send our staff to that this year, because it's a lot of inland fisheries and wildlife updates and vital statistics and all of that stuff. It happens to be at exactly the time that tax bills are now due this year, so it is not going to be possible for them to be able to do that, because we can't close the office the day before and the day taxes are due. But they'll get to other trainings throughout the course of the year. But that's what convention is, and it brings people from all over the state to go to it.
Can we change the date that taxes are due so they can attend?
No.
Can't slide it a week?
No.
Damn.
No.
Good try, Kevin.
Good try, but
We
no.
voted on that already.
But no. It's okay.
How many
There'll be
people
other
can we
opportunities.
send, and how many do we typically send to convention?
It's one delegate, and then there's usually an alternate, I believe.
And it is worth your, I've been several years.
Right.
It's well worth your while to go. It's very informative. I like the swag that's out there as well. But if you have the opportunity to go, you really should go.
The time I went, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to actually meet new people, other, our personnel, plus they had little classes going on, things like that, so it was worth going to.
Well, I'd like to think that Michelle's going to be there already, that you would be the
Voting delegate.
delegate, and then maybe one of you want to go up, could be the alternate.
I would like to attend it.
I'm not available.
I'm not available,
I am actually available that day, my Wednesdays, so that is a Wednesday.
yeah. But more of you can go up. We just have to have a name on the
Right. so,
form.
Yeah, I should be able to do that.
And what you want to do is you really want to take a look at the agenda that's in that Townsend, or we can send it to you, because we would need to, if you want, you can attend the vendors, you can attend this meeting for free. If you want to do the lunch, that does cost, and if you want to do any of the trainings, that also costs, because there's everything there can be trainings for counselors, there can be trainings for staff, it's all there. We would get you registered and set up for that, and that way you could go, and the council does have a training budget that we'd be allowed to use that for, so. And that would be good, and I would highly recommend it, so.
So I guess we need to know who wants to go, so you can tell Michelle
I-
and get your name registered.
Sure. I mean,
Well, Dr. Townsend and Kevin,
Great,
Peter,
great.
you want to
if we
go?
had-
I'll go.
So we have 3 counselors that would like to attend with you. We have a motion for the voting delegate for Michelle. They don't have a second yet.
I second.
Seconded by Counselor Kitchen. Let's take care of the voting first, and then we'll figure out who wants to go. And I would love as many of you to go as possible. I'd love to join you. I can't do it on that day. So I have a motion for Michelle as our voting delegate for the MMA convention. I got a second. Yeah, Counselor Kitchen seconded. Any other discussion, any other nominees? Hearing none. All those in favor? Okay, 5-0. Michelle will be our voting delegate, alternate delegate. Any of the 3 of you are going to go?
I make a motion, Dr. Townsend, Counselor Townsend,
Be the alternate.
be the alternate.
Thank you.
Second.
Else- yeah.
So I have a motion by Counselor Kitchen for Dr. Townsend to be the alternate delegate, seconded by Counselor Lawrence. Any other discussion?
That should be good.
Nominees? Seeing none, all those in favor? 4-0, 1 abstain.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got our voting member and our alternate delegate. We have 3 counselors that would like to go, Counselor Kitchen, Counselor Lawrence, and Counselor Townsend. We already have budget for them to attend. Do we need any special requests where we're going to have 3 members?
No, it
No.
just gets posted,
Okay.
like the other stuff does, if all 3 of them, and you'd go.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
Thank you for,
Yep.
Do we have to do anything publicly saying that we're going to have a quorum publicly?
That the 3 of you may
So
be in
posted.
the same place at
Yeah.
the same time. Yeah, if there's ever a time in which we feel that there's going to be a majority of the town council, we need to post that, and that the fact that there may be a majority of the town council at a particular location, however, town business will not be discussed or voted upon. It just covers you. So that way people can't say you had an illegal meeting up in Bangor because you all went to the same class.
I think it's fantastic that you're going. I've done a number with Maine School Management. I went annually. They're fantastic knowledge. I'm glad Michelle's the voting delegate because I rely heavily on her knowledge and MMA as our representation for everything legal that we have to deal with. But please take notes and anything that
and report back.
yeah, please, no,
Especially the
please.
ones that have been there before you.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it.
And
Been
I
there
do
once
think
before.
next year, it would be very valuable to close the office that day and send our staff, since they're the one that have to deal with these statutes and legislation issues every year. It would be imperative that they go. So let's plan on that in our training budget for next year as well.
It's a good thing. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, 8th order of business, council workshop and other business. Item number 1, discuss the administrative fee schedule. We all got a copy of the requested changes. So we'll start with police and civil fines, parking enforcement. Most of them, our current costs are a $10 violation. The request is to bump them to $25. Concealed weapons permit, the current cost of $35 for a new permit, $25 for renewal. Period is for 4 years. The requested change is $50 for new, $35 for renewal resident, and that's set by the state. So I'd like to break up these requested changes and go by police, code enforcement, community center. Do I have any questions on the police, civil fines, parking?
I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah, please.
I just think $25 for a parking ticket is kind of cheap. It's almost like, okay, if I get caught, I'm going to pay my $25. I'm not about taking people's money, but we have a parking problem in Fairfield, and a $25 parking ticket is kind of nothing.
I was right on with you.
All right.
Yeah. Michelle, you wanted to talk on that one first?
I didn't, I just wanted to just give you a little bit of information before we went into this, is just to make sure we clarified. These are just the sections for change
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
fee schedule. Your
Yeah.
fee schedule is about 3-4 pages long, and I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
these are just the pieces that were recommended changes. There is another parking piece too. It's handicap parking. That's a much steeper fine. It's like $250. That's a different animal than what these are,
Right.
so. Yeah.
Kevin, do you have a suggested on the requested change?
Where was
I would think $50.
I would second that.
I mean, I could go on forever. We've had discussions, seems like all year long, about not parking along West Street.
Yeah.
Still gonna get people to park there, oh, $25. If we know the police is gonna be around one time, whatever, I'm gonna take I just think it,
You know, some of these are, as far as winter parking and double parking, obstructing driveways, like you said, it's pretty minuscule at $25, so I'm with you at 50. Have any other discussion? Anybody else want to?
Michelle, do these need to be posted as to the dollar amount on the sign?
That's the clarification that we're waiting for on the parking pieces.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, that law that went into effect, I think it's today that all the new laws were going into effect. There was a law in place that said that municipal public parking lots had to have on their sign how their fees were done, had to list the fee for parking violations. The law was amended throughout its course at the legislature and now reads such that every parking location in our community has to read what the fines are. That is in the process of being fixed, and because the law was designed for large municipal parking lots, but right now it's every single parking space. So we're in the process of fixing that. Well, we're not in the process of fixing that. The state is in the process of fixing that. They're supposed to be putting a bill forward. I think there's like 3 or 4 bills that were passed that need corrections in them, and that's coming. I wasn't able to attend the last Legislative Policy Committee meeting due to another meeting conflict, but hopefully I'll have more word on that soon.
So can we table this section?
So what you're doing tonight is just, of course, discussion.
Just discussion, right?
Just discussion.
Right,
So
but
if you want to change this to 50.
I'd like to make the
then you can-
changes, table it
You can make all
until
the
we know,
changes.
and then-
It will come
and then-
back to you at your next
Okay.
meeting for approval.
Fantastic.
Tonight's just discussion.
Yep.
Next meeting is approval.
Yeah,
And I think $50 is a good idea.
No.
Can I caveat that?
yeah, absolutely.
Hearing what she just said, if we're going to post a dollar amount, I picked 50 because people don't know. They might not see the sign. But if they're parking in front of a no parking sign with a fine on it, maybe it should be 100.
Well, they might not be.
I'm not saying that number is, I'm just saying, how bad of a person do you have to be to do, I don't know.
Well, I think, like Michelle said, we already have one fee at a handicap spot that's $350 or something.
Right.
It's $250.
So I think we're still going to have some different charges.
$50 though would make me think twice
Yeah.
about what I'm doing.
I agree.
And then the matter of collection is another.
Well, and you can, if it's not a deterrent, you can always change it afterwards.
Yeah,
Right.
And it's,
right. If we're seeing
the
too many
message gets sent
infractions,
better
we can
if it's
always-
lower and you go higher, as opposed to you go higher and you have to go lower.
Yeah.
Concur.
And it's not clear yet whether every single parking stall has to have the fee. The intention is that it would not. So like, we have parking on Main Street, and it is public parking, but there wouldn't be a fee required on the notice, on the signs in that location. It would just be like down here at the community center. Or at the parking lot next to the library that we just put in, and not necessarily on the sign on West Street that says, so that's the clarification we're waiting for.
Okay.
So,
Okay, on these parking fees, does the state have a regulation too? I know regulation, state giving them, taking points away? Or you just?
No, that's
this
for
isn't
moving
even a state
violations.
process, it's
Okay.
it's strictly
Okay.
local.
All right.
It's one of the only fines that we have,
Okay,
well,
all right.
yeah, it is the fine that stays here.
So it wouldn't count on your motor vehicle record?
Okay, I'm just
Do
asking.
you have any comparison to Skowhegan or Waterville?
Waterville's 25.
Yeah, I think it was, whatever it was, 25. I
was trying to look
don't,
through-
I
yeah.
really
I only know
don't
that
know what
from
the police
working
chief.
there.
Are you speaking from experience that they're?
No, because when I worked there, we would collect tickets. Ticket payments,
I'd rather
I
be the
should say.
leaders on this and set the standard. I think Council Kitchen made a good point. 25 may not be enough of a deterrent. I'd like to see it changed for 50 for now.
I'm good with that for now. We can vote on it next time, but I
Yeah.
think that's a good.
And for clarity, the money collected goes into which fund?
General fund?
Yeah, it goes into a very specific, well, it's miscellaneous police department. I don't think they have a parking ticket line. So it comes in as revenue collected, and then at the end of the year, it just goes into the general fund and then gets used.
Okay.
So what you'll see is that if we keep track of it separately, you could say, in the revenue spreadsheet that we have that we use to offset taxes, you could do a line that says parking tickets X amount of dollars as a revenue to offset expenses. My guess, more than likely, it's just going to be municipal because it's not consistent revenue. So you wouldn't say that you would always have X amount of dollars to depend on for parking tickets.
Interesting to see if the fine goes up, if that actually have less.
You might actually have less violations. That's the hope,
violations,
right?
right.
You would have less money to
My
work
hope is
with.
it's a deterrent,
Right.
not a
Yeah.
revenue source.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right,
don't want
right.
us to come across as targeting, so,
Right.
Yeah.
you know. So do we agree on $50 for the change
Yeah.
that request? So let's do that for next meeting. The concealed weapon that's set by state, so I think we don't touch that one. Code enforcement, shoreline zone permit, its current cost is 25, requested change to 50.
Is it 50 or 75? Because the price difference is $50.
It was 50. I missed that one. We got the one below it.
Yeah, the one below it, I'm going to attack in a minute. Let's do shoreline zone permit first. So is the request 50 or 75?
50. It was 50.
So the price difference will be 25. We don't have a lot of shoreline zoning, so
We do not.
is everybody okay with the requested change to 50?
That just seems.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
seems
good
In
with it.
comparison,
Okay.
the other one's the same.
All right, so we'll stay at 50. Commercial solar array, it's currently 10 cents a square foot in the developed area. The requested change is 10 cents a square foot with a minimum of 1,000. This is commercial solar. I'd like to see it go to 20 cents per square foot. An acre of land is roughly 200 by 200. At 20 cents, that would be an $8,000 permit.
So you have to be careful about what you charge for fees because it has to also be linked to the cost of the service, right? So what does the code enforcement officer spend for time for review? And when we looked at solar fees, it's the square footage, it's actually also the square footage of impervious surface, developed surface. So really, all they're paying for, it's not by acreage of a project, it's how much space impervious surface did they create?
So is that the array,
So
which
it's
is
per
impervious?
panel?
No,
Or
the actual amount of the array.
Right, so it's like nothing.
It's almost.
Comparatively.
Comparatively, it's relatively a small amount, which is why the $1,000 minimum. The planning board has the ability to also ask that they front the money for any sort of engineering or as professional design review, that sort of piece. But it actually has worked out well for us in the past. The issue is that some of these arrays, if they're just these small racking systems, the time for review on a 1 acre project as opposed to a 10 acre project could very well be the exact same, just because you're looking at all the components, the tie-ins, the storage, the converters, that kind of stuff, which was the reason for Nicole requesting the $1,000 minimum, because she's had some good projects that have taken a lot of her time, but they didn't really pay an awful lot for.
What's the cost for a building or a deck? What are we paying for? Is it square footage? Is it size?
So I think it's like $25.
And that's
I have to bring up
residential?
the file.
I mean, this,
Some Burton permits are $10.
It's minimal.
Building permits.
what's that?
Permits are usually $10.
I think it's done by size.
Yeah.
Building permit's done by size. Somebody's going to put in a commercial solar array, I would hope they're going to pay as much as they would for a building.
Just a minute, let me get it.
Building permit. 20 cents a square foot.
5 cents a square?
20 cents a square foot, $100 minimum.
20 cents a square foot? Then I'm going to stick with my 20 cents a square foot for a solar array. I think that's only fair, especially if we're only talking about the actual structure, not the total acreage.
So that 28.
So that's a residential structure is 20 cents per square foot, but if you do a building permit as a residential deck, it's 10 cents a square foot with a $10 minimum.
Do we have a commercial fee, or is it just residential?
Commercial structures are 25 cents a square foot with a $250 minimum.
Then I'm going to change it to 25 cents a square foot to match the commercial structure.
I don't think it's wrong. I mean, a lot of those will still be very small square footage because
Yes.
of actually
When you're
the
talking
structure.
just the
you're talking about.
array.
Right. And there's still, a lot of times it'll still probably be the.
With a minimum of
$1,000 minimum.
Yeah.
That was my question, yeah. It would be easier, bookkeeping-wise, to keep it at the same amount of money.
It's only fair, I mean, honestly, with commercial's commercial. I don't want to pay less than somebody's going to pay for residential building or a deck. That's not fair.
So change that 10 cents to the 25
25 cents
per square foot.
With a
with a
$1,000
$1,000
minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we all in agreement on that?
I agree.
Yep.
Okay. Community center rentals, the gym, kitchen-only conference room, they're all currently $25 with the gym and kitchen at an hour and a half, and then $5 per half hour afterwards. The conference rooms, 25 minimum of 3 hours, and then $10 an hour after 3 hours. Requested change will be $60 for 2 hours for the gym and kitchen only, then $20 per hour after the 2 hours. Conference room will be $75, a minimum of 4 hours, and then $10 per hour afterwards.
I think my only question was on the gym. So how does that affect sometimes like youth sports who use the gym on a regular basis for
Like Cal?
practice? Yeah.
They don't pay.
Okay, that's why I want to be, that's what I was under, that's what I seem to remember, but I want to make sure. because
Doesn't
I-
affect them at all.
Good, okay.
They
I
don't
think that's-
pay. The PAL organization does not pay. We do have some other sports organizations that do pay, but they
They're kind
are.
of doing a
in-
special.
And as people have been calling about booking the community center in the future, this conversation has been had with them about the possibility that these were the fees that were being recommended for change so that they were aware of what their event may be. And it has not deterred anyone
Right.
from renting the facility.
And you look at the comparisons. other-
Comparisons, it's still
Other
relatively low.
community centers.
Yeah.
And similar facilities, we're still really competitive.
Yeah.
So when we look at, gym, kitchen, conference room for non-residents, basically double the fee. So I'm actually pretty happy with those.
What about if somebody wants to have the gym with the kitchen? Do we charge them 100, 120? Then we wouldn't need the word only there.
No, so the gym is with the kitchen.
Gym,
Only the kitchen is without the gym. So
yeah,
it's the
so
same
this should
price.
say gym with kitchen, right?
Sure.
Gym with
Just so
kitchen,
it's, yeah, just so it's clear.
and then only the kitchen.
Well, we probably should just eliminate a line, period. I mean, it's the same
Yeah,
price.
when did we have that?
I mean,
Did we have something?
why would
different?
you rent just the kitchen and you can get the gym for the same price?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about,
They talking about the
somebody
first
needing
line?
just the kitchen.
Yeah.
But what,
But it says residents
written
only.
that way?
Only, but it says resident, doesn't say
which is supposed to be.
non-residents only, just for residents.
Double the,
This was
Wait.
just residents.
Right.
The first one's
And
residents.
then non-residents is the same.
It should just say gym and kitchen, resident and nonprofit, one line, because
Yeah.
the line is duplicated.
Oh, okay, so,
Unless we need to charge
What if-
more if they're using
What
the
if they don't
kitchen.
want the kitchen? See,
Right, well,
Exactly.
I almost wondered if it should have been only gym.
I think it's actually when they rented it before, they had to rent both. Because this says gym, residents, non-residents, and then kitchen, and then after it, which is not in here in the actual current thing, it says limited access. So it gave you the opportunity to get the gym, or it gave you the opportunity to get the kitchen. And both combined. Do you want to do a combined rate?
I think we should do a combined rate.
Because like, there's other things that we haven't really addressed in here or changed. Like, so there was a wedding, if you wanted the kid, so a wedding for the gym For the full day is $250. Just the kitchen for a wedding is $150. There were a couple other rates in here that we hadn't adjusted yet.
Can we just bring community center back with more requested changes so it elaborates a little more on what each use
Absolutely.
is?
So somebody could actually rent out the kitchen to prepare all their food for the day.
Right.
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 So if we
I'm
I'm
look at it
thinking
that
about
way,
a
what does that
community,
look
if
like?
somebody wanted a community
that's what-
kitchen opportunity.
Well, when you
Really?
start talking a wedding or a function, you're going to want both.
Right.
9 times out of 10, you're going to want both. However, if I need a commercial kitchen because I've got an event to do someplace, I'm going to Dr. Townsend's for a wedding. I'm going to rent the kitchen so I can get all my work done here. And then even sometimes, let's say,
Right.
I want to rent the gym, I don't need the kitchen.
Right.
Should be a different rate.
Yeah.
You may have a lot of PAL events where they're having their banquets. They're going to want both. You want tables and chairs set up.
All right, so we'll add a combined rate. But you're happy with the direction
Yes.
of the 60,
Yes.
the doubling,
Yeah.
all of that? So
Yeah.
and we'll
This
come
is a
up with a combined
stupid
rate.
thing, because I've been just through a couple weddings, and I meant to look at the rates. Do you rent out chairs or tables?
No, we do not.
Yeah, it's a pain in the behind, but it would be a profit center, I tell you that much. After having rented a bunch of tables and chairs for our wedding.
So but what happens is it's the destruction.
Yeah, so you have to have a nice deposit on those.
Because I'm going to say this, because I know some events I've been here for, yeah, they're renting the gym, but they're charging for chairs.
Who charges for the chairs?
Yeah.
Who?
The Chocolate Fest, $10 extra for chairs. Oh, yeah, they charge extra for chairs.
Because we don't charge extra for chairs, it's one flat fee.
Yeah.
It's highway
Yeah,
robbery.
They charge.
They're not dumb.
Wow, you take it up with the Chocolate Fest.
No, I'm just wondering because, actually, like Dr. Townsend says, I was charging you chairs, but some
So
of
when
these
you rent the
vendors-
gym, all the tables and chairs that we have
Are
go with it.
included.
It all goes with it.
Right.
It's also one of the reasons why we stopped some of the wrestling groups that were here, is because all of our chairs were getting destroyed, our tables were getting destroyed, and
watch
not
too
to
much
mention
WWE.
everything else that was getting destroyed, and we stopped the wrestling groups from coming in because it wasn't worth it.
To address that, what's our deposit? Let's make sure we've got an adequate deposit
Adequate.
to cover
So our
damage.
deposit right now is $150.
Can we require
A com-
event insurance?
You can require event
would.
insurance,
It's supposed
which we've discussed under the park stuff, where
Right.
we're absolutely asking for event insurance.
Yeah.
I would do it here as well.
Make them have the event insurance.
Yeah.
Progressive's got a direct plan, it's dirt cheap.
Yep.
We could set the community center up, that they go right to it, we don't have to ask for it.
There's also,
MMA has one.
the MMA has one, it's Guardian, I
Guardian,
think.
yeah.
And because we're MMA members, anybody who's at our facility gets exactly the coverage that we need to have and
Yeah.
their event needs to have, and it's pretty cheap.
Would that
We
be-
started advertising that with our rental agreement, I think last year, where council said they highly suggested, but they didn't make a requirement of it. So if you want to make a requirement of it, that's fine. And
I would like to make a requirement of it.
Protect-
But we've got
Is that
to-
just for
protect
events, like
ourselves.
weddings and stuff, and banquets, or is that like birthday parties
Is it
and?
just
birthday
for
parties and
profit or
everything, which is
non-profit,
events.
too?
Yeah.
I would say every event, period, if they're going to be in here, we have exposure, whether it's cooking and fire, bathrooms. I just don't want us to be liable for it.
How much is it?
I've heard it could be as low as like $35 for the event. It depends on what the event is.
Yeah.
It really does. It's not as simple.
When you
as
start
answer.
talking weddings and they're going to have liquor, they usually have.
That they have to have
That as
insurance,
well,
and you
but-
have to have, you have to have a,
License
that's a different level of.
Yeah, let's require
Permit
it.
from the state. and-
Protects us.
Okay. All right, we'll get that change made for the
Great.
next meeting.
Parks, waterfront, and green space use. Park rental for 3 hours, it was 0. Requested change is $75 for 3 hours with a $150 deposit and proof of liability. I think that's spot on. And then electricity, $25 for a 3-hour increment. Keep that the same. I don't have a problem with that.
We haven't had enough usage of anybody with the electricity to make a sound difference on the
Yeah.
$25. But we have had an uptick in the use of our parks by private individuals, and seeing what a lot of the municipalities around us are doing with that, we realized we were really missing an opportunity. We did recently have what I heard was a wonderful wedding over at Mill Island Park. It actually allowed for a bunch of donations, actually, for the municipality. But we use that as a run-through of the process to
Yeah.
see if it would be beneficial for anybody, and it worked quite well. It really did. It required some coordination between the couple and the municipality, but we were able to grant them access to the park, and yet they were still able to feel secure with the things that they were doing there, the tent setup. It basically boiled down to, they brought in their own lock for the gate. We made sure we had the combination, so if fire or EMS or Public Works or police had to get in there, they could. But yet they were still able to secure their facility, their location, and it worked really well, so.
Fantastic. Pine Tree Waste, trash tickets currently $225 per ticket, suggested change to $250 as of April 1st, 2026. I don't have any questions on that either. Okay, I think we're good with those changes.
Okay. We'll get these corrected and work back up and get them out for you.
Thank you. Item 2, discuss committee meeting recordings. Councilor Townsend, you have any update?
Yeah, so this has been an issue that's been discussed for, for a while. But I think it would be helpful for some of our committee meetings to have some type of recording, and so you can go back over and see what was said, more than just the minutes. So one of the things I've talked to, Chad would be the biggest person to talk to on this end. And there are some options we have. I just want to throw them out to you. One is the very simple one, which would be just audio. And that would, while it might not be as robust, it still would be cheap and easy. You would just have, the one thing we'd have to do on that, which might slow down some of the committee meetings, is that you have to do roll call votes. So you have to understand who was voting. And you could make a case that you could introduce yourself each time you spoke, so people knew who was speaking. So that's, a little cumbersome maybe, but it's easy and cheap and done. The next one would be using one central camera here. Chad can do it, but it's going to require some technology work to run some extra lines and trying to run things through the mixer and stuff like that. So somebody could probably get trained on it, and we could probably run some lines, and we could probably use audio and one camera on that end. But that's, again, we can talk and figure out what we want to do. Maybe we can get a cost for that to see what that would look like to do that. The last one is more of something we want to do, and we have to do a little trial for it, is you could do Facebook, something like, we could use the town's Facebook, we do Facebook Live, but we have to have something that to actually record it, and that would be probably an iPad set up on a tripod to be able to look back over us. I need to figure out, it'd be difficult to run the sound, trying to get it to sync up.
I think Clinton does hit town meetings with Facebook Live.
Yeah, I think it could work. I'm just not sure. We'd have to just do it one time, and it's like, as a test, like, how does it sound? Is it horrible? That might be actually the one way to get video and sound.
Probably be echoey.
On that, I think it might have some echoes, but we can try it at some point. And even if we come in here with one of our meetings and set it up and see, what does it sound like? What does it look like? So those are kind of our three options to look at. I can try to get costs for, especially like if we had to do the one camera and doing some extra technical work. And then, if we did Facebook, we'd have to need something to record, whether it was you can use a cell phone, you can use an iPhone, you can use an iPad, which does an even better job. But
What about if the people are using the screens? Because we use, in
Right.
the Economic Committee, we're using the screens
yeah, that's gonna be an issue that we're not gonna be able to really work around that one, short it, because you're gonna have one camera. Maybe you'll pick up that screen. You won't be able to see it well, because you're just not gonna have, unless somebody wants to run back to it, and, which is fine. Maybe somebody, if you're in those type of meetings, somebody could, hey, let's focus on that screen.
Or we post on the town website the supporting documents, so if
Right.
they're
Well,
watching
yeah.
later, they can go along.
Exactly, you're going to.
And something like that, like,
That's the way to go.
we use a lot of working documents with, especially with the Central Maine Growth Council.
Right.
That would not be feasible, because it's a working document, and it's like with the calendars and all of that, we talk about it, but I don't think it needs to be posted. That's a lot of work,
That's why we constantly using that all the time through the whole meeting, so.
yeah.
But that's, so, I mean, short of hiring another person, which we have tried to do, that's the only other option really for us. Chad is usually, there's usually a lot of conflicts with those meetings at this point, so.
Well, maybe, for me, the easiest one, because I'm thinking about just the conversation, of the flow of the conversation. If we could just have one camera or the iPhone set up, I don't know how that all works, So, but have that all set up, and then I think that would be better than doing it just talking, and then,
It's going to be more interactive, or at least,
because not
better
everybody's going to
product.
remember to say their names.
I like the Facebook Live. I would try one.
I'd like to try that.
See how the audio and the picture comes out.
Yeah, that's what, I guess that's the way.
Get some feedback. That's going to be the cheapest option for us.
Would he be able to upload that to the Crossroads YouTube? Because I know, based off of the reports that I looked at, that seems to be where all the hits are at. So if we did Facebook Live, I'm not sure that's something we could talk about getting uploaded later, because that's where people are going to go to look at it for the most part. I would just say, from my perspective, I like the one camera view with everything. Leave it up to the committee chair to what documents they feel is important to post as supporting document. Like for the PFAS committee that we were on, there was a lot of information that was in the report, but if we wanted to add something like that, so if people, we can link that depending on the meeting. And then also with that one camera, if we had to, we could move the podium a little closer in case we have guest speakers or whatever to kind of get them closer into the picture.
And that might work. I guess the biggest thing at some point, if we come to that point, looking at those costs and having Chad really have his input on that.
When Facebook Live take care of everything you just said.
How does it work again, Facebook Live, with the
Facebook
phone?
Live, just in case
Straight up.
Chad is doing something Facebook Live, it comes off his live Facebook page. That's what it does.
Right, so we use the town.
So go on the town's Facebook page.
And we use these
You set up an
cameras
iPad
here?
or whatever, it's got a camera, it's got the whole room, you've got your sound on, done.
Yeah.
And then we can just hear the feedback, and if, I'm
And who
almost
starts all
certain that
this?
Clinton does their town
Yeah.
meeting
Well,
with,
yeah, right.
Could you
Facebook Live.
record the meeting even on an iPad
Yeah.
without doing Facebook Live, and then upload it to
Crossroads.
Crossroads and the Facebook page after the meeting is done?
Oh, my goodness.
I don't think so. And where am I going to get an iPad?
We'll need to buy
Who's going
it.
to pay for the iPad?
How much is an iPad? Does it have to be an iPad?
It doesn't have to be an iPad, but I don't, but,
A tablet, it used to be something.
I've seen
else, maybe
people
Wi-Fi.
using the regular cell phone.
Use mine.
so could we put some of these concepts together for you in writing
Yeah.
with the associated costs? Because whether Clinton uses an iPad or an Owl, I'm not really sure. There's a lot of people that use that. And what those costs would be and what it would look like, because I don't,
I think it's great. The biggest thing was just talking. with
because
Chad
whoever the
and see what-
person is that's running the iPad for Facebook Live has to have access to the town's Facebook page,
So it-
which isn't something that we readily give access
Right,
to.
so in this case, I mean, we would have, it would be the committee, in my head, it'd be the
Doesn't
committee.
necessarily have to
You're-
be live, we could.
Right,
we
and
could tape
it wouldn't be necessarily
Upload.
running it, because it would be
I think
sitting
that would
there, and it would be just going static. It is like, it is doing one view, there's nobody, zooming in, Tim's talking, we're zooming in, pulling back, Kevin's talking, we're zooming in, pulling back, it's just like, there it is.
Yeah, it's just going to be one big picture.
Right.
Okay. And I will let you know, this raises my level of anxiety. So,
It's really so simple.
we've got to keep it simple.
Yeah, that's why the iPad
I think
would be
recording it,
very
uploading
simple,
it after
because it'd
would
be
be-
one.
Just be someone in our
So-
committee that runs it for us.
Maybe,
yeah.
yeah, it's
We're
going to
not
have.
going to have anything
So-
running through a mixer, we're not going to have any of that.
You just plus pray before we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Good to go.
We're good to go.
Yeah, really.
I think it can be.
I think the
nice.
costs associated with purchasing whatever media we decide to use for the town is money well spent.
Yeah. I think it'd be great for everybody to have access to some of these committee meetings. I mean, I would love to see, well, all of them. I'd love to see buildings because I'm not able to always get there. Economic development, I can't get there because of timing. So I'd love to see those. And then I know that some of the meetings we've had on the environmental, formerly PFAS committee, have been really beneficial. And I think people would have really enjoyed hearing them in person.
So put some costs together for us.
Sure,
All right.
And keeping everything simple.
yes.
Okay.
Always.
Stephanie proof.
Okay.
Okay. Discuss other council business. We'll start with Councilor Townsend.
So I think on my end, obviously, people have seen a lot in the last couple days of information going on about the dams and the river. I think that's going to be something that we are obviously going to have to address as a council and start planning. One of the biggest parts of that, though, is the old Chinese proverb of maybe. So we just don't know. And if you don't know that one, just Google it up. And the best one to listen to is Tom Brady and maybe. But it's just, you never know. You always think something is bad. You just don't know until you actually address it and what actually happens. So, but I think we do need to be prepared, and I think we need to start looking at what may happen and how that could be, how we can turn a negative into a positive if it's the worst case. But yeah, definitely something we're going to have to address here in the next few months as we learn more.
And I'd like to piggyback off from that just by saying, I would like to be able to have a conversation with Maine Nature Conservancy and hear them.
Yep.
So far, all the articles I've read are pretty consistent, but I think we need to ask them to come so we can ask them questions as well.
And I think we consider this as we review our comprehensive plan, because it would be foolish not to
Correct.
account for that tax revenue that we're
Yep.
fixing to lose.
Right, exactly. The other one on that end, and it's going to be, it could get messy, but also is, everything that Delta is talking about, Delta Ambulance, with their change in service rating, and then change in cost to us. We're looking at going up to $60 per capita, and also that changes the math a lot. So that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to address here sooner than later. So I think that should be, there's a lot on our plate here the next few months, but I think that should be one of the things at the forefront.
And also, I was going to talk about that as well, Matt. If I've got the figures for Fairfield and Benton, if it goes to $55 per capita, we're looking at $507,870 for both towns. If it goes to $60 per capita, we're looking at $554,040 for both towns. I definitely feel that we need to have a serious conversation.
Yeah. Right. And I think one of my biggest problems with that also is the fact that you can sugarcoat it all you want, but our service will be decreased and our price will be increased. That's just the truth. And so I think we have to have that discussion. Those are big things on my plate that we'll be looking forward to. But yeah, I'm glad to get the PFAS, the Environmental Committee, off the ground and keep rolling there. Thank you for allowing me the time to serve with you guys. It's a lot of fun on this committee, this council.
Councilor Lawrence.
Yes, I know Stephanie wrote, she read the comparison. There's an additional off that, because I attended that meeting. Every time these meetings come up, if Fairfield or Benton does something, these meetings come up. Because this is the second meeting I attended in 2 years. And that, through the whole meeting, I don't know, the town manager and I was there, they were questioning her a lot, saying, what's this? We're here and you're leaving. Every manager or a 5-person talked about that. Also, too, just in case they're saying Fairfield Benton breaks away, we lost the services, capital goes to $75. That's on the last page.
To the other towns.
For the other towns.
Yeah.
Right, right.
The interesting part about that is that China has an ambulance now.
Some of these other towns,
Yes, so the other
Yeah.
towns are, so they're always throwing Fairfield under the bus.
yes.
That we're going to be the ones that cause the price increases. But like we've talked about before, we have to be at least proactive because other towns are considering those changes as well.
Right, with the meeting there, what Chris said, they have to do it by end of September on a new license. Because they hire new employees and things like that. They're saying about the paramedics. They don't have to put a paramedic in the ambulance. They'll be in a chasing car, in a chaser, if a emergency is arise, if it's life-threatening.
So we talked about that last meeting a little bit. Michelle had touched on that, and it is a downgrade in their license, which they are going
Right.
to do. To me, makes it a breach of contract. The only thing that I take out of it, once again, was if they're not going to send a paramedic to Fairfield, why would they? Okay, we have paramedics of our own. They want to pay us $300 if we have to send our paramedic for that call. Is that correct?
Yeah, possibly. It's a-
Possibly.
It's an active process that
Yeah.
we're working through.
But then again, if Fairfield Benton does decide to go on their own and there's mutual aid and they have to come to a call, they want to charge us $900, 3 times the amount what they're willing to pay us when they don't send the appropriate staffing level of our contract with them. It's going to get downgraded. This is a discussion we absolutely have to have. We didn't start this discussion. You're right, Peter, every time we plan ahead on something,
Right.
this is what happens. Many of those municipalities, Sydney, China, they already have ambulances in place as they're, Delta's losing money, period. Even at the end of this proposal that they put out, they're losing $2 million a year. That's being subsidized by all the communities they service, as well as Maine General, which they receive a hefty subsidy. They've listed their management. It's not my responsibility to tell them how to run their business. They're a contracted service. They're a monopoly, period. We don't have another option at this point. As far as mutual aid goes, Chief Leary's not here to ask those questions, but they work very well with the other fire departments. Even the fire departments that already have ambulance service, Waterville, Winslow, Clinton, Albion, I believe, has an ambulance as well. You know, so this is a discussion we need to have. I would like us to wait until we meet with Benton. We're a combined EMS service. I think October, we're still looking for a date.
So we're looking for your off Wednesdays in October. Not the first Wednesday,
Yeah.
but the third Wednesday and the fifth Wednesday as a meeting with Benton. They met the other night. She was just looking to confirm the dates with them. One of the things it completely, I don't know, it wasn't in my realm of thinking. Benton did just have an election in June. They had a new council, a new board of selectmen put together. They have a new chair that is in place. So that was more than likely the delay for the responses. But they did get back to, in fact, I was texting with them after our building committee meeting at 8:30 on Monday night. So they're definitely working on that, and we should hopefully have a date within, I would hope, the next week that we would be able to get together. But we chose your off Wednesday nights just because it didn't conflict with either community's meetings, and that it would be a strictly standalone, as we discussed, workshop discussion for them, with them about their thoughts on all of this as well, and what kind of direction it would look like we would go. There have been conversations between the fire chief and myself and Delta Ambulance on a potential future partnership. The chief has been on vacation. We will get through these things. We have questions for Delta about that. If that is something that the chief feels that we should pursue, it will come before the council. It will be up to you to ultimately decide whether that's a project you'd like to see us go forward with. And we would get your feedback, and we would make sure Delta is at that meeting as well, just so you can hear all perspectives. But it is an evolving process of what we are looking at, so.
So I think it's imperative for us first to meet with Benton. We have a great agreement already. We have a contract that needs to be fixed. It's very unbalanced right now. They're aware of it. I don't want to alienate them. They need to be part of the process before Delta's even involved in this. We need to work with our cohorts across the river I don't think they're going to have any problems, but for us moving forward, we are a combined service. When Delta or anybody else throws out their numbers, they don't always state that. You know, Fairfield pays this, Benton pays that, this is our call volume here, is our call volume there. That's not how we operate. Okay, our contract with Benton states pretty much an average, 5-year average per call volume for each town, and that's what we need to get to. We need to make sure they stay on board with us for this process, which, again, if they're at the table, we're at least getting their input and we know where we're standing. So before we get overwhelmed and wrapped up with Delta, we didn't bring this up, first of all. They did it in China and they invited, you know, people to go. I don't want us to overreact. We already did a presentation before budget last year. I also want to remind you, our audit says we should get to 4 staff members per shift for the fire department, so that when we show up for a fire, we have enough people to enter a building already staffed. This will help us enable to get to that. Our firemen are also our paramedics and EMTs. So we're not just sending a paramedic to a rescue scene when we show up for a fire. They have dual roles. They're not just paramedics or EMTs. They're also firemen. We already have 24/7 call for every call. We already send our people. They already triage before anybody gets there. So just keep all those in mind. I just think the dialogue needs to come after we meet with Benton. Really important to meet with Benton.
Okay, also too, this Saturday, September 27th, Grange is having a public supper from 4:30 to 6.
That's it.
Council Kitchen.
I had some stuff, but I don't want to, I talked to you about it
Yep.
earlier this week. I'll get with Michelle and discuss. I just had some questions about town manager reports, maybe how we can fine tune that a little bit. I don't think this is probably the right forum based on everything we're talking about. Just advice, whatever we're going to talk about. I want to go back on the Delta real quick. Since I've retired and moved back home to Maine and Fairfield in 2018, this has been one of the most contentious subjects in our community. Sitting here listening to Councilor Lawrence go into these meetings and people are throwing our municipality under the bus, to me, bothers me. I believe in being a leader and not a follower. There's a lot of discussions out there about regionalization and how we can do this, how we can do that. I've worked in government contracts most of my career, fixed price contracts. I think there's solutions out there. But for everybody, like you just mentioned, to jump to the gun, we as a town council have to look out for our citizens first and foremost. And we're not always going to agree on what we're going to go, but I think, like you said, we need to have those discussions with Benton. As a team, we work out what's best for us. We bring that to the table, and we try to meet from there. And we'll try to lead these other towns, and hopefully they'll understand our perspective instead of throwing us under the bus like we're the bad guys. When quite the opposite. I think we're the good guys. We're the ones looking ahead at this and what the problem's coming down the road. And really, this also ties into potentially losing the dams. You know, we're going to lose $300,000 plus a year in taxes, and then we have a cost associated with our ambulance service, whichever way we go. So you know, as contentious as this has been over the years, I think I agree, we do it right, and we be the leaders of the community, of the region, and do what's best for everybody. That's my rant. I think we can get there, and hopefully sooner than later, so we can move on and do what we need to be, instead of being, I feel, held hostage by what are the rates going to be by Delta every year. As somebody who ran budgets before, tell me what you're going to be charging me for the next 3 years. Give me a fixed price contract so that our town manager can budget. We can't budget on this changing every year, and it's getting frustrating. Sorry, it just frustrates
No, I
me
agree.
every time the
I
subject
agree.
comes up.
We're looking at a 70% increase. Michelle wanted to address it.
I just wanted to clarify for Councilor Kitchen, the rest of the council, and the rest of the community. During that process and in that meeting, we very much were given an opportunity to speak and address what was basically considered the elephant in the room. And when the shifting changes in price has to do with what Fairfield decides or what Fairfield Benton decides, it obviously makes the other communities quite anxious because it's a very drastic increase for them. But your process of what you have been through and throughout all of this and how you've tried to look at every angle and the fact that it has not been lost on this community that what the impact is for the rest of the communities is something that has been talked about. But we did absolutely clarify that when it comes down to it, it is exactly our residents and the Benton residents that we need to be most concerned about. And there wasn't a soul in that room who did not understand or appreciate that comment. And people do get that. But it is very much a part of every conversation that is had, because if Fairfield and Benton was to withdraw, it represents more about a $900,000 revenue loss for Delta Ambulance. So if they're going to lose $900,000 if Fairfield Benton withdraws, because then in turn that's the revenue that would be here that we would collect or somewhere there close there to it.
That doesn't count their per capita charge. You're
But-
really talking about $1.4 million.
So it's a very big concern for them to think about that and what those other municipalities would have to incur for a cost to supplement that. And Fairfield is different than a lot of these municipalities. These are smaller rural towns. They mostly have volunteer organizations. They do not have 24/7 already responding staff with equipment, with all of these things that we already have here in place. And at the end of that meeting, even Chris Mitchell said, of course, the town of Fairfield would be looking at this kind of an option. It only makes sense for us to do that, considering how our department is already set up. And he did very much publicly say that. So, yes, it's always a bit contentious, but once you explain all of those things in our process, and we've been very upfront about that for the last several years, it usually tends to subside. But
I think in that meeting, that probably made sense to everybody in the room, but the residents of China or Sydney, they're hearing, the bad things.
yeah,
So
but
I-
they weren't. There were no residents at that meeting.
When we
It
talk
was
about
very
all
much.
of this, though, you're looking at other towns. I mean, from the article that I've taken from the town manager of China, they've already been proactive. We didn't know that they've gone out and already purchased an
I didn't know China bought an ambulance till I showed up that day.
Was it Sydney or Smithfield,
I
somebody?
think they had one. Oakland got one a couple of years ago.
There's a lot of the surrounding communities that are in their contract district is what we should call it. It's a monopoly, period. I'm a strong proponent that usually a private entity can do things cheaper than government. At this point, we're held hostage, and like you said, we went from $10 per capita, $35 per capita, and now $60 per capita over a 3-year span. When does it end? Why are we the guinea pig? Why are we the goat? We didn't ask for this meeting, but yet we're in these reports. Well, if Fairfield does this, if Fairfield does that, well, why? We didn't go to them and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this or that. We had proactive talks about it last year, and it becomes that elephant in the room. So I just want to make sure we've got our numbers in place. I think it gives us an opportunity to reiterate to get our fire department staffed where it is and still save the town money. So when we have those figures, we sit down with Benton. Let's come back with actual facts and statements so the people watching are getting correct figures. They're not hearsay. It's not, oh, you guys are doing this and you guys are doing that. We're not doing anything right now until we sit down with our teammates across the river that we share an EMS service, and then we'll decide what's in the best interest and bring it to our citizens and see what they say. So, anything else? And I have already talked with Michelle about what we had discussed and have that conversation with her, and I think you'll get those reports so we can see them and not have to write them down.
I just didn't get here early enough to pass them out, but I've already printed them.
So you got
already on the
perfect.
same page.
right.
It works out fantastic.
I
She
print
has
them every night
time.
for the meeting when I read them, because I don't remember them off the top of my head either.
Yeah.
I just had to do extra copies for you. We've already got those.
Thank you. It helps a lot. I mean,
Yeah, you
I'm
don't need to
scribbling
do that.
fast. It's
I
like
can
you-
easily print 6 copies as I can one. It's
I mean, you
So,
had 7 different dates in a 2-week period.
so for the people that are listening that don't know what we're talking about, was getting the town manager put her information, appointments, meetings, and everything into the town manager report so that we can track along. The last thing I had was, I wanted to touch on, I know we talked about it at the beginning, was the committees. Besides everything that's been going on in our country over the past, couple months, we have open seats on our committees. I often see on social media people that disagree with me or disagree with us. I would offer to those people to come and be a part of our committee. We had a outstanding PFAS committee, and it was great. And I say that because we did not all agree. We had contentious meetings, but we all learned from it, and what came out was the best thing for the town of Fairfield. So I almost encourage people that may disagree with me out there to come and join our committees, because that's what we want. To get better, we have to be challenged. So we have 2 open seats on the environmental committee, and we have an open seat on the ice rink committee. If you want to be heard, then please come and sign up, because we will listen. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilor Thibodeau.
Well, I've already said some stuff, and now, with the dams and Delta and everything. I still think it's imperative that we have a sit-down with the Maine Nature Conservancy at some point, and I agree that we should wait until we meet with Benton in October, and then do some strategic planning. And it looks like for the Delta, we may well be over the $500,000 mark for both towns for the 26-27 budget. So we're going to have to swallow that, and but we can do stuff for the time after that. I do want to remind people that we have an emergency preparedness meeting on Tuesday at 6:30 here in council chambers.
Thank you. I'm just going to reiterate what you all said. We have openings on our committees. We value the input, we value the expertise and the knowledge. I've said it before, I'm very fortunate to serve on this council with this group of councilors. We do not always agree. I learn every meeting to try to get a little bit better, try not to interrupt as much. But at the end of the day, we get a lot of work done, and we challenge each other, make each other better. So I really appreciate the opportunity to work with all of you. School's in session. I think homecoming's coming up. Let's keep an eye on those school buses. School's got a lot of openings, job openings as well. So, those complaining about buses or bus drivers or special ed, they're hiring. Again, you don't have to volunteer. They're looking for employment. So volunteers are always needed and welcome, but sometimes the solution is to get involved. So watch out for the kids as those buses are out. Be aware of the parking, the change in parking again on West Street. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay, the next regular meeting of the... Sorry, Michelle.
I just have one thing.
Yeah.
It got missed on our announcements, and I think it's important for folks, especially considering what's been going on regarding fraud and texting frauds and stuff. I just wanted people to know that the Somerset Economic Development Corporation is celebrating October is Fraud Awareness Month in Somerset County. Learn how to be a fraud fighter and protect yourself and your loved ones from fraud and scam attempts. There is going to be an event here at the Community Center October 8th. Which is the same day as your next council meeting, but it's from 2 to 3 p.m. So it was going to be too late to put it on your next agenda.
Okay.
And that is in conjunction with our police department. So the folks will be here. So if anybody wants to come in and figure out how to better protect yourself from fraud, especially in the light of all of these fraudulent BMVs, text messages that they're sending and the IRS text messages. It's just a really good piece for our residents to be able to come here.
What's that date again?
It's October 8th from 2 to 3. They also are hosting other events, so if those dates don't work for you, this is posted on the town's Facebook page, but there's also will be events in Skowhegan on October 16th, Pittsfield October 20th, and in Madison on October 22nd.
And that's here, right?
And that will be here on
That's
the
same
8th of
time as,
October from 2 to 3
We're
p.m.
in
May.
Bangor, too.
MMA,
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay. Thank you.
that was it. I just want to make sure we got that.
All right, the next regular meeting for the Fairfield Town Council will be on Wednesday, October 8th, 2025, to be held as a hybrid meeting in council chambers and via Zoom at 6:30 PM. At this time, the council will recess to sign all documents and require the signature of council members.
I have a
Thank you,
question.
Kevin.
Said the meeting's going to be October 8th. 3 of us are going to be in, or does
We'll
it,
be back.
we'll be back by then?
You'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
6:30.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to go recess?
Second.
Recess, 8:15.
Have a good night.